Liberia is our only home. Liberia is our only home. We cannot sit and watch Liberia die. Liberia is our home. Liberia is our home. The only home we know. Let's fight to bring it back. Take it from the rogues. Take it from the thieves. Let us punish them. Liberia is our home. Liberia is our home. All you patriots rise. The time has come to end the massive stealing of our wealth. Rise, oh patriots. Rise, my patriots. Time to get our nation back. Liberia is our only home. We cannot sit and watch Liberia die. Liberia is our home, the only home we have. Rise up, patriots. Rise up, loyalists. Commander Chesson is calling the order of the day. Liberia is our home, the only home we know. Liberia cannot die. We owe it to our parents. We owe it to our elders. We owe it to the ancients. We owe it to our parents. Liberia cannot die. Rise up, oh patriots. Rise up, oh loyalists. Liberia is our home, the only home we have. Fight, fight for Liberia. Fight, fight for freedom. Fight, fight to free Liberia. Liberia is our home, the only home we ever know. Liberia is our pride, the inheritance we have. Rise, patriots, rise, loyalists, rise, Liberians. Follow Commander Chesson. Follow Commander. Follow Commander Chesson. Rise, rise. Attorney Commander Chesson shall lead the order. Save Liberia. Free Liberia. Follow Commander Chesson. He will set the path. He will set the path. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, welcome to Attorney Commander Galpohkpa Chesson Talk Show. Today is July the 3rd. Before I begin my lesson, I want to extend a pre-4th of July Happy Independence Day to all my American people. As we rise tomorrow to celebrate our Independence Day on a Sunday, I pray that the Almighty God watch over America. Bless us. Let the angel of the blessed Holy Spirit descend upon America and bring us peace, bring us unity, bring us solidarity. For the past 6 years, our country has been in limbo. For the past 6 years, the resurrection of hate, bigotry, and all the negative things that sought to divide us, that sought to limit our abilities, that sought to set our country back, prevail. By the help of God, Americans came together and elected Joe Biden. By the help of God, we stopped an insurrection that sought to overthrow our democracy and replace it with the past government of hate, of negativity, and of destruction of our constitutional democracy. And now, despite our efforts to come together, despite our efforts to unify and solidify ourselves, the elements of hate, racism, race superiority, anti-Christianity continues to put its heads up, continue to try to change our laws, continue to sow hate, disunity, fragmentation among us. It cannot prevail. It cannot prevail in America. And it is time for us to say enough is enough. It's time for a united America under the banner of God to say no to evil, to say no to those elements that are trying to divide us, to make one man lead this nation. This is not the will of God. And we must rise up in unison and say, no, enough is enough. Why are these people trying to change our laws? Why are these people trying to sow hate and disunity in this country? Why? Why isn't enough enough? Donald Trump is gone. Let him stay gone. Enough is enough. My young children, we hold the future and destiny of this country in our hands. We hold the future and destiny of America in our hands. We cannot be a people of hate. We cannot be a people of division, disunity. That is not the Christian way. We pride ourselves on the standards and principles of Christianity. And for the past 6 years, we lived under a pseudo-Christian society and leader. For the past 6 years, the elements of hate have tried to subdue the everlasting love of Jesus Christ in America. It failed. It's still trying to raise its head. Enough is enough. The time for Jesus Christ's people is now. Rise. Let's stop this shenanigans. Let's stop this foolishness. Let's stop this nonsensical nonsense. The time to end this nonsensical nonsense in America is now. Rise, my children. Rise. Tell your parents, enough is enough. We have a president. We have a government. And the foolishness must cease and desist now. We have only one country. We have only one democracy. We have only one government. And we cannot destroy ourselves from within. We can't. Rise. Now, let me get into my lesson. We also see in my country, Liberia, we have a lot of problems. Our problems rest on all fronts: religious, social, economic, political, socio-economic, socio-political, political, social, political, social. Wherever you want to put it, you twist it any kind of way, you turn your tongue in a way, it ends up to the same thing. Our problems are many. And they keep compounding. So let me take the first example. Let me put up my first lesson. Get into my lesson so we can start the essence of educating our people. We can start the deep down foundational principles that we need to start the healing our country. Our country is sick too. Our country got a lot of problems. And we need to take time to heal it too. So my topics for the day are: 1, the Holy Trinity is not the God of Israel. 2, Henry Costa on Spoon TV. And 3, the review. Let's start with my first topic. As usual, I can't start with the third or second. The Holy Trinity is not the God of Israel. The reason why I decided to touch on this topic this morning is because we have to understand who our God is. And many Liberian people don't understand our God. Jesus is a part of the Godhead. We have a Godhead because our God is almighty. Our God is all powerful. Our God is the creator. And that what distinguishes our God from other gods. I don't know what other gods say their gods are, but we know that our God is the creator. And that's what distinguishes him from other gods. Yes, all of us fall under the Judeo-Christian belief. That means we come from the Jews through Christian, Jesus Christ, and that's where our line of religious belief flow from from Israel. The Islamic people, theirs flow through Abraham. So both of us, our roots come from Judeo-Christian, Judeo-Islamic teachings. And all of our gods are distinguished. That's what makes our religions different. Despite the fact that all of us come from the Judeo-Christian line of belief, our prophets or our teachers or our leaders are different. So we have the Jews who have the God of Israel, who is the God that all our blessings flow from. But that God is not the God of all of us. He's not a God of the Islamic people. He's only the God of the Jewish people through Abraham. I'm going through this because I really want to make a final distinction between the three religions and let us understand where we come from and what our beliefs are, the foundation of Judeo-Christian belief. So all of us flow from this, the three great religions of the world: Judaism, Islam, Christianity. All of us flow from the Judeo religion, the Jewish religion. That's the foundation, because it is from that religion the scripture of God is written. The Holy Bible in the Old Testament is written from the Jews. We follow that same religion. Christianity, Islam follow that same religion. We are distinguished by our prophets. The Jews are the only people that have direct line to God through Abraham, who founded that God, who got up and went to look for that God and obeyed that God. And through his obedience, that God blessed him and said, I will multiply your seeds. We are part of Abraham's seeds. The whole world that believe in the Judeo-Christian, Judeo-Islamic, we are all part of Abraham's children. That's what make our religion, the three great religions, because majority of the people of the world follow these three great religions. So we come from the God of Israel. Muhammad called himself a prophet. Jesus called himself the Son of God. His birth is immaculate. No matter how you term immaculate, we know that Joseph is his father. There is no one that tell me that they know all the biological things about life, that Joseph could not be the father of Jesus. You know what Joseph and Mary used to do? You know the kind of love games they used to play? You don't know that. I don't know either. We don't know the mystery. Why you think Joseph didn't divorce Mary? You think he was that stupid and dumb? He just kept Mary? People say, the Muslims say, oh, you can't have baby without sex. Yes, that's true. You can't have baby without sex, but it's penetration. The only way a woman can get pregnant is penetration. Those days, there were no medical insertion of feces or all that kind of thing, fetus and all those kind of things. There were no incubated pregnancy or birth to surrogate mothers and all that. There were none of those things. But there were still forms of making love without penetrating a woman. There were still ways that a man and woman could enjoy sexual relation without penetration. So you don't know what Mary and Joseph did, despite the fact that there was no penetration? So how people can come here and just be so naive and stupid and think that you got to penetrate a woman to impregnate her? You don't. You don't. You don't. So, a woman could get pregnant from foreplay without penetration. So, how can we sit down here and just determine, oh, it can't happen with this or this? It can't. No, it can happen. It can happen. It ain't got to be spiritual. It ain't got to be spiritual. A man can enter a woman without breaking that line, that hymen, or whatever it is that keeps a woman a virgin. You don't have to break that for a woman to get pregnant. So, I just don't want to go in all that biological stuff. But we can't come here and say it can't happen. Who are we to say it can't happen? Who is Mary and who is Joseph to say he wasn't playing games with Mary? That he may not have broken that line. But you don't know what they were doing to satisfy their desires before they got married? You don't know it. I don't know it. So people can't come here and just make conclusive statements. Oh, it can't happen. It can only be through penetration. That's stupid people do those kind of things. That's stupid people go do those kind of things. Because even in our everyday lives, we know that shit happens. Why you think we say it? Shit happens. You don't know how it happens. So that's why when people talk about spiritualism and make conclusive statements about Jesus' birth and all of that, I just don't get involved with that. We don't get involved with that. We don't know what was Joseph and Mary's relationship. We don't know how their father went with the relationship because they were already betrothed to each other. They were already going to marry each other. So you don't know the extent of their foreplay and all of that when they get together. So, people come here and make all kind of statement like they know. This can't happen, that can't happen. And in everyday life, all of us know that shit happens. Shit happens we can't explain. Shit happens we can't, some of us who don't believe, we don't even say nothing, we just walk away and say, oh man, shit happens. And just walk away. Because we can't explain it. So what you think about spiritualism? What you think about woman and man relationship, a woman getting pregnant mysteriously? What's so far-fetched about that? It doesn't happen every day, but you cannot tell me there's no historical record of women in the whole wide world that have not had a pregnancy like Mary. You can't tell me. You can't tell me. And none of us can prove it. So for people to make those kind of statements, you know they are limited. You know where they are limited. Because even us, no matter how we plan things, no matter how we make all the necessary arrangement. Shit happens. Shit happens. We don't think about everything. Even if we think about everything, something will go wrong. Because we do not control anything. We are just participants. If it turns out okay, God bless us. But nowhere in the world you can say, I plan something, it will go according to how I plan 100%. No, you will not say that. You can't. Nobody can say that. And nobody can plan anything to go on 100%. You just pray that the way you planned it, no flaws would be so bad that it would hamper the program. But there will always be flaws. That's why when people plan things, they have managers to run the thing, to make sure everybody on time, to make sure everybody doing things, to make sure people do what they're supposed to do at the time they're supposed to do it. You don't have managers, it ain't gonna happen. No matter how much you plan it, you don't have people on the day of the program that manage the program, it will not happen. Even if everybody know what they're supposed to do, it will not happen. If you don't have people to manage it, it will not happen. So this is a simple example. We have no power to say something can't happen. We have no power to say God can't do that. And every time people come and have these things and sow these doubts in other Christians, we lose faith. We lose hope. Because we do not know. And the man who knows tell us this is how it happened. Who am I to say no? When I know that shit happens. Just that statement alone should convince you that you don't control nothing, that we have powers over nothing, that whether we plan everything correctly, shit happens. So if a holy man can raise the spirit, can raise the dead, feed the 5,000, turn water into wine, if he tells you that he was immaculate, his birth was immaculate, and that he's the Son of God, who are you to question that man? You have two choices, believe him or not. But if you believe him and you lukewarm, and you don't understand the belief you're following, you can't believe in Jesus Christ. Because no matter how other people tell you about Christianity, no matter how other people try to convince you about Jesus Christ, if you don't have an in-depth understanding of his teachings, of his philosophy, you will lose. You will be easily swayed. That's what they call lukewarm. But if you understand implicitly what Jesus is teaching us, there's no way you can go astray. There's no way. Because the things he's telling us not impossible. It's not impossible. Because in all our lives we know it. That's why we fix the phrase, shit happens. Because if all of us knew God's plans or how things would turn out, we would not believe anything. We might as well be God. We might as well be gods. But we don't know all these things. That's why it behooves us to have an in-depth understanding of our own lives. That's why we get educated. That's what separates us from the goats. Because when we become educated, we are supposed to have an in-depth understanding of things that we don't question our own selves, because we have learned it. We have found the foundation of life, which is education. And that's why it separates education from education. Some people get education to make money. Some people get education to become intellectuals. That's what separates us. Because when you become educated to become an intellectual, your quest for knowledge never ends. It never ends. Because you want to learn as much as you can. So when you're talking and you're explaining things, you're able to answer all the questions that relate to that one topic, whether it seems to be throwing you off the topic or not. Once it relates to that topic, you can go out and come back. If you understand what I mean. That's what education is all about. Like for example, I was sitting talking with my sister Yvette one time, and she told me she was eating in one country back home, and when she got to eating, she put the fork and the plate, the fork and the spoon, the fork and the knife together on one side. And if you learn etiquette, that's part of etiquette. It teaches you how to set your fork and spoon to let people know that you finish eating. So if you got servants, if you got people who want to eat more and they want to be courteous, and they still see you eating, or they still see your fork and knife apart, they know you still eating. But under rules of etiquette, when you finish eating with fork and knife and you place it a certain way on your spoon together, it tells everybody at the table that you finish eating. So for us who know about those kind of etiquette training, my sister ate and she put her fork and knife down to indicate that she had finished eating. So as soon as she did that, the waiter came by and said, "Ma'am, you all set?" And he took her plate away from her. So the guy said to her, "Oh, but how you know you are finished eating? That's talking about English?" So she said, she laughed. She said, "No, it's the way I put my fork and knife down. That's etiquette. That's the training. It tells everybody around you that you finished eating." He said, "What? Knife and fork to talk to?" You see, I'm just bringing that to show the extent of education. If you are intellect, you're not just learn to run out to make money, to say, "Oh, I finished with education and I just want to make money. I just want to go do my job." No. You always come back to enhance your knowledge, to read more, to learn more. Sometimes you on a job, you hear something, you don't know about it. You come home, you get on a computer to find it. Or you get on your phone and you find out what that means. That's extending your education. That's extending your knowledge. And I'm saying all of that to say it's the same thing with Christianity. It's the same thing with the teaching of the Bible. If we don't know our gods and we are believers in the divine, we never excel. That is why it is important to know your God. You got to know your God. You got to know the teaching of your God. Every God got principles. Every God got teachings. Even the tribal gods. But if you're not from a tribe, if you're not from that culture, you will never understand the in-depth teachings of the religion. If you just go in there for juju, you will never understand the principles that relate to success, to honoring our God. You can't worship no God without honoring that God. That God will not bless you. It will not bless you. That whatever religion got rules. They got rules. And if you don't understand the rules or honor it, life gets hard. Life gets hard. It gets hard. Because in our confusion, we have nobody to enhance our spiritual strengths, to buttress our physical abilities with spiritual connections. So all these things matter. You got to know your God. And you got to have a strong belief in your God. If you say you love Christianity and you don't, if you love Christianity and don't understand that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, you're not a Christian. You are not a Christian. You can go up and come down. You can say you all what you are, but you're not a Christian. Because that's the foundation of Christianity. Shit happens. You see how simple life is? So if you believe in Jesus Christ, you know that we don't control anything under the sun. Shit happens. That's the first foundation of your education. You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But shit happens. Just those that sent by God. And if it continues to happen in your interest, you can't doubt it. Not every man can raise the dead. Not every man can feed the 5,000s. Not every man can turn water into wine. Not every man can resurrect. So who are we, after seeing all those things, to say, no, he's not the Son of God? How can you do that? Even Jesus Christ teaches us, when false prophets come and call his name, we can't condemn them. We sit and watch. Because vengeance is his, and he will repay. So you can't seek vengeance. You sit and watch and see where it will go. That's why you don't condemn no holy man. Let them make the noise. Let them and sit and watch them and see how far they will go. You see, and that's the mistress of life. I'm saying all of this to tell you that you got to know your God. And Jesus Christ alone is not our God. He's just the Son. He's our Savior for the Gentiles, for people to us who are not Islam, who's not Jews, but who love the God of Israel. And we can't come through to the God of Israel without being Jews. So we have two paths. You can either go through Islam, where you got to follow all those rules, follow the 5 pillars and all those things, make a pilgrimage and all those things before you be a good Muslim, or follow the laws of Jesus Christ that are only 2. So you have a choice, 5 or 2, 5 or 2. Both of the religions believe in the 10 commandments. Both of the religions believe in the 10 commandments, but the laws of our prophets are the 5 pillars for Islam and the 2 laws of Jesus Christ. So if you understand those things, your deep understanding of your God, then you become different. Because when you follow Jesus Christ and you commit to being a Christian, your God is different from the Jewish people and the Islam people. Your God is different. When you follow Jesus Christ, your God becomes the Holy Trinity. It's not just the God of Israel, not just the God of Muhammad, and not the God of Jesus Christ, no. Or not Jesus Christ himself, no. Jesus Christ is part of the Godhead. But the God for Christians is the 3-in-1. Because that's what we say, God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, that our God. Jesus Christ alone is not God. But when he combines with the Godhead, he is God, the 3-in-1. So until you understand the mystery of Christianity, the mystery of the 3-in-1, the mystery of Jesus Christ's birth and death and resurrection, you cannot understand how to be a good Christian. You can't. Because it is through knowing those things that our faith becomes strong, that we don't become lukewarm. That when people come and tell us, oh, Jesus Christ is not a God, it's not God because he can't mirror, the mirror can't have children with sex. You tell them, how you know that? How do you know that? You don't know that. All the miracles that are happening around us every day. People got cancer. They're telling them they will die tomorrow. Some of them still living after 20 years. Who are you? People get cured, have chronic disease, go to sleep and get cured the next day. And you come and tell me it can't happen? You see the miracles happening around you every day. Then you tell us it can't happen? Who are you? Who are you? You don't want to believe Jesus? Don't believe him. But don't come and tell a believer who understands the foundation of Christianity that Jesus Christ is not the Son of God. That's what separates us. Because I know in everyday life, shit happens. I know in everyday life, just living regularly, shit happens that I can't explain. That you can't do anything perfect. Shit happens. So when a holy man come and tell you, I can raise the dead and he does that. I can change water into wine. I can do that. I can feed the 5,000 and do that. I'm a son of God by immaculate birth. Who are you to say you can't do that? After the man has done everything else that benefits you. Because when he changed the water to wine, all of y'all got drunk. He fed the 5,000. Nobody said he fed himself. They say he fed the 5,000. They say he raised the dead, not him. So everything benefited everybody else. So when he tell you, I'm the Son of God, who the hell are you to say no? When you have benefited from everything else that he has said. But all of this is just to say, before I get off this topic, you must know your God. You must understand who's your God. Jesus Christ never told us he was God. He told us he was Son of God. Just like Muhammad. Muhammad said he's the prophet. He could have said he's the Son of God too. Does that mean you're the earthly Son of God? No. Jesus never told us that his kingdom was on earth. So being a child of God was not his place on earth. He just came to spread the message, to open a way, and to bring the word. That's all he came to do. And split. And that's what he did. And God told him, before you can come to be a God, you got to sacrifice your life. You got to sacrifice your life. And he did it. So he met his obligation. We got obligations to meet. And until you know who your God is, you will fail time and time again. You will fail, because I must say, used to think that all the gods were the same, but all the gods not the same. No, no, no. Our God is the Trinity, the 3-in-1. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand who your God is. You can say, I'm a Christian all my life. When they say, who your God, you say Jesus Christ. No, you're wrong. Jesus never told you were God. Jesus was the only prophet that didn't want to be called Abba. People used to call him Abba. But he said he was a son. He never said he was Abba. Abba is Father, God. That was in the spiritual sense. All the other prophets were being called Abba, Abba, Abba. Jesus said, no, I'm not Abba. I'm the son. Isn't that submission to God? Everybody wanted to be Abba, Abba, Abba. But Jesus said, no, I'm not Abba. I'm the son. Don't call me Abba. Isn't that Christianity and honoring God itself? But I don't want to go in that. That's enough. This is a Saturday. I know y'all want to get out of bed and go party and go look around for this good thing on this. I hope this is a good day. So that's it for my first part of my lesson. And that just is tell you to know your God. To know your God. Jesus Christ is not your God. He's the Son of God. The Holy Trinity is God. That's what distinguishes Jesus Christ's life on earth from his life in the divine. In the divine, he is not Jesus Christ. He is the Holy Trinity. So when we understand our God and we understand the power of our God, then we'll be blessed each and every day. Okay? So this is just the start to knowing your God. When you can understand who is your God, then you are blessed. Jesus Christ is part of the Godhead, but our God is the 3-in-1. Okay? Let's move on. My second lesson, I listened to Costa on the Spoon Show. You know, it's good that Costa goes on that show, you know, to help explain his ideals and what he's doing. But many other people on that show too don't understand what they're talking. If they did, people like Keith Hassan would not have no big space on that thing. Who is Keith Hassan? I keep telling you, people all the Keith Hassan, Keith Hassan. Keith Hassan is an idiot. He's an idiot. And you see, Costa is not a politician. Costa always telling you he's learning. He did his thing in government, not in politics. But a man like me, George, we are going to a place that France, I wouldn't make a statement that Costa make, say he will not see George Weah, he will not see the president of France. There's a possibility he would not have seen the president. But under the circumstances we are under now, there is no way George Weah will have gone to Paris and the president of France would not have seen him. Why? Simple. Guinea and Ivory Coast. Problems are brewing in both of those countries. Those are French colonies. And Liberia is in the middle of all that BS. Our people involved with the people in Ivory Coast. Our people involved with the people in Guinea. It's a must that Macron see George Weah. because the problem for Ivory Coast extending into Liberia. We got people dying in Ivory Coast with Liberian passports and documents, voting cards. Our borders are interrelated. So it behooves the president of France, when George Weah come there, to embrace him and sit down and talk with him and offer support. Because even if COVID-19 is not in France, it's not in Ivory Coast and Guinea, if Liberia people consume that disease, it's possible they will take it to Ivory Coast and France. And Guinea. Have you been to France? If you haven't been to France, then you will not know why it's important for Macron to meet with Weah. If you're not involved with international things, you will not know. But if you have traveled, you will know it's important that when George Weah go to France, for the president of France to meet with George Weah. You know how many Guineans and Ghanaians and Ivorians in Ivory Coast? Y'all don't know. When I visited France in Paris, they had a place called Rue de la something. Rue de la something. Hey Lord, I knew the name again. I finished forgetting it. Rue de la Chance. I think they call it that. But it's a place, from that place, it's a little platform place, like a little, in that area they have this big square. You can go there and see the Eiffel Tower and all the things from far from that place. You can see the heart of the Champs-Élysées, the main avenue and everything. But that whole street is nothing but Guineans and Africans. And that is a big business street. The Rue de la... I forget the name. But they got all the perfume stores on our route. They got all the companies on our route. A lot of them, right? I wouldn't say all. But that were all the Guineans, the Ivorians. You see them in our place, all of them in the African clothes. That way you know France for Africa. So it behooves Macron to embrace George Weah, to maintain the peace between the three countries. Because anything happening between the Ivory Coast and Guinea, and involving Liberian people going to and fro and joining the forces in the two countries, it creates the same problem for France as it did for Britain with the blood diamonds in Guinea, in Sierra Leone, with the Liberians being involved in there, and they had to take Charles Taylor out of there. So politics is different. A leader will do things leaders will do things they don't want to do because of different reasons. And for France to avoid problems between Guinea and Liberia and Ivory Coast and Liberia, he has to embrace George Weah. COVID-19, our three countries are vulnerable. Liberian people going to Ivory Coast and Guinea people coming here all to the day. If we do not enhance regional security and health protocol, nobody can stop disease from spreading. Nobody can stop it. That's why you see as soon as one group got this disease, will close the border. Nobody will cross. You can't stop it. There are many crossing points between Liberia and Ivory Coast. There are many people crossing points between Sierra Leone and Ivory Coast. So it's hard. But you can't blame Henry Costa. Henry Costa not a politician. Even people come and tell you, oh, Macron will never meet George Weah. He will never meet George Weah. Henry Costa will not know. because Henry Costa don't understand the intricate and political situation that France is in. They need George Weah too. Because if George Weah can work to keep the rebels and all the people from Ivory Coast and Guinea, other Liberia, it helps France. But if they can come in Liberia to train and do other things across the border to go commit harm and things, it's embarrassing to France too. Because all those countries depend on France for economic survival, for health. In Ivory Coast, most of the people in Ivory Coast are French citizens from long ago. They are French citizens. France is obligated to help them. I know about Guinea because Guinea cut ties with France during Houphouët Boigny. I mean, not Houphouët Boigny, sorry. Sékou Touré. They cut ties with Guinea. So now, these people are part of the Commonwealth. There's a Commonwealth. And all these people come under France. They're part of the French Commonwealth. Anything happen in this country, the Commonwealth got to come there. And they don't need that. So maintaining good relationship with George Weah, helping George Weah financially to cure Ebola and do all those things is beneficial for France, not for Liberia. It's beneficial to France because they don't have to spend money in Ivory Coast and Guinea for the people crossing to the border and taking the disease into those countries. So there's a bigger picture here of why Macron could not diss George Weah. There's a bigger picture. And Costa may not have understood that picture. Costa may not have understood it. That was sometimes when people talking politics, we can't say anything. We gotta sit and watch. We gotta sit and watch. I couldn't say yes or no to Costa. I couldn't say no, you and I meet the men. Shit happens. So I sit and watch. But I understand the intricacies to the situation that Costa is confronted with. When you talk about George Weah will never meet the president of France, it's in the France's president's best interest too for him to meet with George Weah, for him to keep that close relationship. So if anything happens in Guinea or Ivory Coast, he can call George Weah directly and make George Weah happy. Stop the people from crossing the border. Stop them from training their soldiers in America, their rebels in Liberia. George Weah can do that to help France for Ivory Coast and Guinea. So that's the political aspect of it that all of you do think about sometimes. What Macron did is in France's best interest too. Okay? A review. Every time I try to teach, I try to go in depth to bring those things out to my people that they may not see initially, that they may not understand. All the things that happens in our world, they have meaning. Everything the presidents of the world do, they have meaning. Why? Because for the industrial nations, America, France, Britain, Germany, all these countries, they have to maintain a certain standard in the world, especially those nations with colonies, Britain, all the other countries, Spain, all the other countries that got colonies. Britain and France, especially in Africa, maybe Belgium, Portugal too. But you got to understand, if you're a world leader, you got to maintain things and do things that may be that are in your best interest. You may not like them. You may not want to associate yourself with them. But because you have a greater responsibility, you have a greater mission and a greater goal, you have to tolerate certain things because they keep things quiet. They keep the noise down. They keep you from spending money so much. So these are one of the things in our country. But we can't continue to let all these things happen. We can't continue to have leaders who have no planning skills, who have no leadership skills, who have no organization skills, who are just leading by ear. We can't have those kind of leaders. It causes us more problems. It does. It really does. It does. Because every time we go out, we got to explain in more detail why we need what we need, why we need the help we need to help. And the people can see all around us. We have the abilities to do things. The people can see all around us that Liberian people are smart. And they keep wanting, but these people are so talented and smart. Why are they suffering like that? Then you come to realize it's all about money. It's all about petty change that don't really matter or have an impact in our lives. And once we don't realize that if we work together, if we serve each other's pride and dignity, we can rise. We can rise. But everything for us is quick money, petty cash, not trusting anybody, not trusting ourselves to want anything better. There's always the problem. There's always the problem that we fail. And we fail. Why? Because we always miss the greater picture. We always miss the greater picture. And what is that? The great is better than the power. The whole is greater than the part. The pie is greater than the piece. All these things matter. And once we understand that our interest is a collective interest, it's not an individual interest, it's collective. And we must do things whether we are satisfied or not to please the collective, to serve the collective. When I succeed, with time and time it can fail. That's why we got to get rooted in knowing who we are, in knowing our beliefs and our God. That's why I took time to teach you, Liberian Christians, who your God. That your God is the Holy Trinity. That your God is a collective God. He's not Jesus Christ alone. Yes, Jesus Christ is powerful, but the 3-in-1 is the Godhead. And until we understand that, we understand the significance of the Trinity and not only Jesus Christ. We grow in our Christianity. We grow because we know who we are. We understand who we are. And we work towards enhancing ourselves because we know who we are. A man who does not know himself is like a tree without roots. It withers away. Because Gavi told us that. Matthew sang about it. Marley sang about it. And I'm telling you about it too. You need roots. You need foundation. You need to plant seeds to grow where you are. So you become a part of the community, become a part of the soil. If you don't do it, you are lukewarm and can never inherit the earth. My class is done. Aluta continua. We have a continual struggle. We have a continual mission. Because our faith never ends with just going to church and coming home. It's a continual battle, continual process. Even if you pray, you can't do it one day. You got to continually do it. Do it. Do it. Shows commitment. Shows dedication. Shows devotion. Above all, shows patriotism. The time of the true Liberian Revolution is now. Aluta continua. Rise. Rise. And have a good day, my people. Doing the Commander Galpohkpa Chesson class is done. I'm out of here. 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 Goodbye, goodbye. Out of here. I'm out of here. Happy 4th of July. I'm out of here. Happy 4th of July. I'm out of here. Oh, 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 oh.